空の青さを見つめていると、見知らぬ彼方へ帰りたくなる。空の青さに吸われた心は、遥か彼方に吹き散らされる。果てだ。ここは空の果てだ。ついにたどり着いた。我が子よ、星の島イスタルシアで待つ。厳かに神秘の奉られるこの島に今、始まりの風が吹いていた。
Hey folks, how's it going? I thought it was about time to start with this little Zero to Hero series. I took advantage of the last Flash Fest to create a brand new account, and now that the guild war is over, I finally have some time to dedicate to it. Now, before we even start, there's a couple of things we should talk about. Rerolling and the beginner ticket. You can find a perfect rerolling guide right on the wiki, but for each account you will only have 4 tickets to go through, and the chances of getting an SSR remain kind of low even with 6% rates. Since Cygames is extremely generous with free rolls, gifts, celebrations, and free SSRs, I think it would be better to avoid rerolling your head off in the hopes of getting a particular limited unit and aim for one of the 6 girls that are guaranteed to come out of your Welcome to the Game 10 rolls instead. Most of them are worthwhile units. Zeta is a decent attacker, currently waiting for her 5-star upgrade. Carmelina is a little bit on the underwhelming side. She only brings a small defense down debuff and a delay for bossy special attacks, but her own special attack gives the whole team a 1-hit dodge. If or when she gets her own 5-star version, she might become a bit better. Meleo is kind of a selfish damage dealer and kind of a semi-tank. Her kit is a little bit outdated, but can work fine in the early game. Charlotta is quite a little gem, emphasis on little, carrying a nice defense down debuff and a 50% damage cut every 5 turns, as well as a nice nuke that also protects her. Her passive buff keeps stacking each turn, giving her more attack and multi-attack rates, but resets on hit. She might be the best character to start the game with as of now, and she's definitely my favorite character out of the 6 starters. Moving on, Delafille is a light healer, and like Carmelina, her special attack gives the whole team a 1-hit dodge and can be useful in certain situations. Light though is kind of a hard element to build a good grid for, so Delafille isn't really a top role. The last one is Lady Grey, an all-red dark debuffer bringing a 25 upgraded to 30% defense down and a delay. She's the one I started the game with, and she's helped me quite a bit in the early stages of my game. Personally, I didn't reroll. I believe in the heart of the gacha and that good things comes to those who wait. Still, if I had to suggest a starter, I would go for either Charlotta or Zeta, but I might just have a thing for blondes, who knows. Now, if you ask anyone if it's a good time to start playing Granblue Fantasy, chances are they're going to tell you to wait for LEGO Fest or Flash Fest. This is for 2 reasons. First, if you want to reroll, these fests increase the SSR draw rates from 3 to 6%, and you might get lucky with your starting tickets. During these fests, it's also possible to pull characters that are limited to them. The second reason being that should you choose to spend money on the game, your beginner ticket will allow you to choose a character from the pool that was available when you created your account, including limited characters. For example, this account was created during the SSR Tanya release Flash Fest, so my beginner pick ticket will allow me to choose any non-limited SSR character, including Tanya, as well as the Flash Fest limited characters like Stur, Drang and the gang, the playable Magna 2 characters Shiva, Alexiel and Europa, and so on. These are units that people torture themselves saving crystals for 4 to 5 months for, and if you end up liking the game enough, chances are you will want the opportunity to invest $25 in it for one of these limiteds. And with that out of the way, it's time to start our journey. And we do so, like everybody else, with a free turn draw.
ゼタよ。一緒に来るなら後悔はさせない。私があんたを導いてあげる。
Our welcoming Tendro has been kind enough to grant us Zeta, but as much as I like her, the challenge here is to use only story and side story SR characters, so we'll go on and omit her from the auto-select. So we just pick up whatever we got in our crate and we move on. Also worth noting, there are 6050 crystals in that crate. Those were given to us by Cygames as a thank you for a successful celebration and for getting a ton of new players during New Year's. And when you talk about a good time for a new player to start the game, there is a side story campaign going on. That means reduced AP costs for side story missions. So, our first objective here is to start hunting for SR characters to form teams with. But before we do that, we have to lock out Zeta and her weapon. Sorry little one, I promise you'll get played with one day. As for her weapon, exclude, there we go. This is just a challenge for myself. If you are playing along, feel free to use whatever you get. The auto-select is going to be a fairly good friend to us, at least for the very first stages of the game. Since we don't have to worry about grids and skills and whatever, the auto-select will just put whatever has the highest stats in there, so we won't have to worry too much. For now, we just worry about the story. At this point in time, summons don't even matter too much. Once you get enough characters or a certain element, make sure to choose the summon with the highest attack for that element. That's about it. Questing in the early stages is fairly easy. All you do is press the big orange button and look at them go. But don't worry, I won't bore you with every single fight. Instead, I will only focus on the end of chapter fights, or whatever comes off as a bit harder than usual. In the very beginning, you will rank up fairly often. That means getting more AP and a full AP refill, just so you can continue questing. By unlocking new chapters on the world map, you often get these new free missions. These cost very little AP and usually grant you 50 crystals. They're actually a very good source for them, so I would suggest you try and complete as many as you can. Another short-term goal you might work towards is the pinboard missions. These usually give you a little bit of a reward for each step you complete, and in the end they give you an SSR character ticket. Working on them isn't really that hard, you even get a quick link for that particular objective as soon as you click on the message. For upgrading a weapon, for example, we get some rupees. After that, it's just a matter of clicking on the next one and see where that takes you. If you scroll a little further below your missions, you can see the reward for that stage of the pinboard. You go forward, you find your SSR character ticket. And now that you are done with this little detour, let's get back to the main quest. Completing chapter 2 rewards us with a max level weapon ticket and our first fire character, Rakam. In order to get more party members, we will have to wait a few more chapters, but these side stories will be the main source for SR characters for us. So, on to the main quest we go. And here we are with one of the biggest help for new players, a free skill level 10, level 100 SSR weapon. Now, you may only see one gun, but these are actually 4 gun drops and a ton of fodder invested into it for both skill levels and actual experience. So, Tiamat is the first primal that we end up facing. One little suggestion I can give you is to try and equip a fire weapon on your main character. Doing so will change his element and will allow him to do a little bit more damage. It should go from the 340 that he's doing right now to the nearly 1000 damage per hit that Rakam is doing. I want to hold off from using Shiva right now, as this is the first good chance we get to try and perform a 4-man Oogi, and by doing so, completing one more mission on the bulletin board. And there we get it. Perfect. But then again, this is the best reward possible, especially for a new player. See, even Rakam thinks so. Alright, let's go and pick it up. This is going to be the base weapon for our wind grid. We will actually need a lot more of these. So, we'll move on to our inventory, set it for highest power. OBS doesn't pick up the submenus, but alright. And since it's such an important weapon, the first thing you do is set it as favorite. Now, one last thing before moving forward. If you click on town, you get these 4 little sparkly points. Each of them rewards you with a little item when you click on them, and after you've clicked on all 4, if you click on them again in the correct order, Lyria will pop up and give you a little bit of a reward. It's usually either some crystals or a summon ticket. You can go check the list on the wiki. This one is Zinker Steel Island, so the order is going to be top left, bottom right, top right, bottom left. So we go back to the game and we just punch it in. There we go. Sometimes the code doesn't work. Often that happens when you've just pushed on the yellow ones. So just go back, change the island, come back, and you will find the order reset, so it will work. Now, we do the same for the Port Breeze. Go back to home, go to town, click on our 4 points, we move over to the wiki to check the order, and it's top, bottom left, bottom right and middle. And for this, we get a ticket. Keep in mind that every new island that you unlock will always have this little bonus. Alright, for now I think we will stop here. Next time we will start taking on the second island and we will start looking at the side stories. See you then!